So today, we're going to be focusing on relationships that help you to be more effective at work. So we're really talking about the science of relationships when we talk about networking. And what's interesting about this is that we can map our networks. We can sort of visualize these structures. And by doing that, we can look at and understand our relationships better. Let me first talk about what we know about leaders who have effective networks, some of the research that's been done in this area. Effective networks mean that you hear new information earlier. You get access to information faster than everyone else. We know that people with a more effective network, leaders specifically, are likely to be in an organization's top 20% of their high performers. Okay, we're going to walk through that research. We're going to tell you what those networks tend to look like for those people. Research also shows leaders with an effective network get promoted more rapidly. Okay, they have access to new information and therefore some of the things that are going on in the organization. They're able to move up faster than others. And this is new research that's come out that looked at, think about multinationals and the subsidiaries that make up those multinationals. Complex environments in which these people work. They looked at the leaders of each of these subsidiaries and looked at their personal networks. And it turns out that those leaders who had effective networks, their organization saw a 75% boost in performance compared to other subsidiaries. Okay, so these networks matter. Let's talk about how we normally build relationships. Okay, how do we normally establish relationships with people? One of them is what we call immediacy. Okay, so we tend to form relationships based on what we need here and now. Okay, so once a project starts, I'm going to get to know my team. Or once I move into a new location, I'm going to get to know the people that are there. Okay, so we tend to build relationships based on what we need right now. The second way that we build relationships is proximity. Okay, so if I tend to see you more often, we probably will tend to have a relationship. And any of you that have work on dispersed teams or groups, you know that you don't get as much contact with those people. So we like to build relationships with people that we're going to see more often. We like people who are like us because we're so interesting. We want to work with people that are more like us. Okay, this idea that birds of a feather like to stick together. So if I'm in a certain life stage and I have children and you're in the same life stage and you have children, I'm going to want to connect with you. Okay, we like to be with people who are similar to us. And we like this idea of relational inertia. Okay, it's easier to stay with the relationships we've already established than think about changing relationships and building them with someone else. Okay, so we like this idea of, I know this person, I'm comfortable with person, let me just stay in this particular relationship. These are the ways in which all of us tend to build relationships. And they're actually all of the ways that lead us to have really ineffective networks. All of these things work against us to building an effective network. But it's the way that we naturally build relationships. What do leaders look like who have an effective network? Effective networks. Leaders have open networks. Number two, they have diverse networks. And the last one here is that they have deep relationships within those networks. Those are the three things that make up a leader's network when they're effective.